Oh shoot.
We are live.
Hey everybody, welcome to AKA Geeks. This is Geeks of Throne. With me I have Lynn.
What's up?
And Brenden.
Fuck you, Jamie.
It is on fire up in here. Dracarys, like nobody's business. Today's episode of Game of Thrones is called
Damn you, Brenden.
Is called The Spoils of War. And damn, what a way to end an episode, you guys.
All I said to the wife was, now you know why the Battle at Casterly Rock was so shitty. Because they were setting us up for this.
Budget on this. But before we get to that, you guys, let's start off. Alright, so the first couple of scenes in this episode were kind of, to me, they weren't super important. They were just stuff that they just had to get out of the way real fast. Essentially, the first scene, it kind of lets you know where people are. But, I mean, it's not like a riveting scene where it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. But essentially, it's the Lannister military. They're marching with the gold. Bronn and Jaime are talking about and why Jaime's looking so down. Obviously, the news of oh god, what's her Queen Bee?
Tyrell.
Yes, Lady Tyrell killing his son Joffrey is still got him shaken, and so he's still a little down from that. So they're talking about it. He pays Bronn a bag full of gold, but he still doesn't give him Bronn his castle. He doesn't want Highgarden. I mean, he tells him he doesn't want Highgarden, but Highgarden, I mean.
No, Bronn wanted Highgarden, and Jaime talked him out of it.
Telling him you don't want it, not yet.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see what's going on. Dickon and Lord Tarley.
Dick Hard.
That's not his name.
It's Dick Hard. That's why that's why he was laughed at. That's why he laughed at him. Because his name is Dick Hard.
Dickon.
No. It's Dick Hard.
Dick Hard.
Like, trust me, that's why he was laughing at him.
Wait. He keeps calling him Rickon, which is the other the Stark kid, but he's there with his father. They're talking about the harvest not being done at a fast rate. So Jaime tries to persuade Bronn to go talk him into going a little faster. Essentially, this scene's just telling us where we're at with the army, what they're doing. I don't think there was anything in there that was super like over the top important like that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I took the whole scene between Jaime and what's his name as a maybe a possible sign of not being on the same wavelength, and that he might switch sides because he's more of a friend to Tyrion than he is to Jaime.
I think whoever's filling his pocket, but I didn't even take anything from it because it was just them chatting. It was like one of those conversations that they just never show us. It's like it probably happens off screen all the time. We just don't see it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, I sort of want him to go with Tyrion.
Well,
because they need to meet up.
I hope
because they are buddies.
That from that scene, but what you're saying is kind of leading on to something else and later on. The second scene we jump over to is Cersei's meeting with the Iron Bank representative again. They're talking about their gold being delivered. Again, this is another scene where it's not necessarily something super riveting or anything that reveals anything just yet, but it kind of lets you know what's going on in the story right now. Right now, they're waiting for the funds to be delivered, but the Iron Bank is very impressed. And they promise support as soon as the gold arrives for any future endeavors. Cersei tells him, well, I'm more concerned with my present ventures right now, and says that she has a couple other things that she wants returned to her. What do you guys think those are?
Well, she also mentioned another land that she was possibly talking about getting help.
It's the wealthy men in Essos and whatnot to get back. That belongs to her. That's what I'm saying. Is like she says that there's a couple things out there that belong to her. She wants back. What do you think those things are, Brenden?
I have no freaking clue.
I had no clue either. Lynn, do you know?
I have no idea.
Yeah. The only thing is, unless the wealthy men have some type, maybe they had some do we know if the Lannisters kept slaves? Because I can't think of anything else that the wealthy men could provide to her in any sense of form, unless they owe her actual funds or people.
We're doing this right after the show's aired, so I haven't had time to like rack my brain about what is missing. So if anybody knows in the comments, please let us know. Maybe we'll think of it by the end of this episode. Next thing, we go to Winterfell, and it's Littlefinger, and he's talking to Bran. Littlefinger gives him the dagger that was meant to kill Bran, and he tells him this. And it was they call it the Cutthroat's dagger. It was we've seen this dagger many times before. We most recently saw it in the book that Sam was looking through, so we know it has some importance. It's made with Valyrian steel. Cool. He also talks about how he cares about Catelyn, and talks about chaos. And then Bran says something that
chaos is a step ladder.
Chaos is a ladder, and at this moment, Littlefinger makes like what? How does he know? Because whenever this scenes happen with Bran, I'm assuming he's saying something that he's not supposed to know, and Littlefinger is making a reaction to it, like, hey, how does he know that? So I don't remember him ever saying that, though. Do you guys remember that?
Way back, like in the halfway through season 1, when he was in his little whorehouse, he made that reference.
Okay.
And you know, because he was trying to, and I think he made it to the unit specifically, if I remember well. And he mentions that because he knew that the tides were changing in King's Landing, and he wanted to make sure he had himself right there at the peak.
He was saying that I'm going to move up.
Yeah, because it was shortly after Ned Stark's death. It was like a couple episodes in, and he made that reference, and that's why he was taken back. Like, holy shit, Bran knows something that.
How does he know this?
I said.
I figured it was something of that essence. Like, I figured that. I just couldn't place the statement in any episode.
And I think the importance of showing this dagger, especially giving it to Bran, I think Bran knows who sent.
Oh yeah,
the killer.
I think he's
by this point.
Hold on. I know we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to call him Bran anymore. Bran's dead.
Okay, the three-eyed raven.
I was about to get to that right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay, so
before we get to that, because for me, Bran wasn't that great of a character to begin with.
Well, he's not a great character right now.
No, but what I mean is, I didn't really care about him. He wasn't a terrible character, but I think that's why it made him, when he turned to the Three-Eyed Raven, still thought of him as Bran. And I'm like, wow, he's a friggin' dick. No wonder I don't like him. But it makes sense because that bland, boring guy is dead.
So,
so now he's the bland, the boring guy.
Right after that, Littlefinger leaves because that girl comes in. I forget her name, but the one that's of the she's of a lord of a good family, a high family. She comes in.
Yeah, says
she's gonna. Well, before that, I'm sorry. And what you're talking about, Brendan, about the whole Bran. No, forget about him. When Littlefinger leaves, he says, "Bye, good. See you later, Lord Stark." And he says, "I'm not Lord Stark." So he denies the whole the lordship. And that goes on to this conversation with this girl. She says she's leaving. Bran, at this moment, I still put him down in my notes as Bran. Bran is still a bit emo about this whole thing. And then the girl starts to cry, and he kind of describes why he's not Bran anymore. And it's because he's seen so many things that now he remembers so many things that aren't him, because he's seen them now. And so he's now officially what we're going to call him now is the Three-Eyed Raven. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, but what he's not seeing is the fact that because of everything they've experienced together, she actually feels for him more so than anything else.
She tells him when she leaves, "You died in that cave." Essentially, Bran didn't come out of.
But he's completely oblivious to that because of him being the Three-Eyed Raven.
I don't think that he's oblivious to it. I think that
he's oblivious to emotions.
No,
period.
He's not oblivious to it. It's who he is now.
He's not.
I'm thinking of it as like it's a shell. It's a Bran shell. That's all it is.
Exactly. He's just a shell. He's completely oblivious to everything except the visions. That's all.
I don't think he's oblivious. I don't think he's Mr. Magoo.
He's completely oblivious. He
doesn't care.
Right, because it's not important. It's not, Unless it's a fucking vision, he can care less about it.
Couldn't.
So he makes himself oblivious to that fact.
All right, so she leaves crying. Next thing, we're going to Arya on her horse. Finally, about to arrive at Winterfell, she comes in and some guards, a fat dude and a skinny dude start giving her some grief, and she sneaks off. Right after seeing the Stark banner, and it reminds her, you know what, this is my place. I'll see these guys later. She goes down to the crypt. Sansa meets her there. And they have an emotional moment. They hug and they talk about their stories and how they got to where they're at. This point, there's a line that's stated that I've read regarding Ned that they say is exactly from the book, which I've stated before is it doesn't look like him regarding their father Ned. And then they go to say, like, well, they should have had somebody who knew him actually carve the face. They, again, bond over their unpleasant journeys, and they hug, and she tells him that Bran's there. What did you guys get from this scene with the two of them?
Well, even way before that, when she was in front of the two guards, I thought she was going to pop needle into their butts, man, because she was not holding their shit, and she was like, you know what, you better let me in this castle, because one way or another, I'm getting in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when shit happens, you're going to pay for it. Like, I really expected her to really cut out. As far as the overall feel for this scene, I mean, I was happy because the Starks finally look like they're the only house that has all family members in check. So it was nice that towards the end, everybody in the Stark group that was separated the longest, because Arya being gone the longest, is back in Winterfell. So she's like the final piece that was out and about in the world. So I like that.
There was something I noticed, and I've noticed it this season so far with Sansa, and you noticed it, I think they showed it a bit more this episode, is that it seems like she is not happy with the progress that other people have made. And in this moment, she's happy to see Arya, but Arya's confidence from all the things that she's gained, all the knowledge and training, it seems like she's not entirely comfortable around some of her siblings, especially because, I mean, they haven't spent time with each other in a long time, but it seems like Sansa, everybody else can be okay, but then Sansa's a little off. I don't know if you guys got that.
Well, that's because I don't see Sansa as being strong. To this day, I still don't. Out of all the Stark siblings, she's the weakest of the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when she,
because she may be Lady Stark, but that's only in title and name. She hasn't earned anything.
Like when she said,
you know what I mean?
Like when she said, "I'll be happy when he comes back," she sounded genuine.
Right.
I don't want to.
Yeah. I just want to step away from this. This is not for me.
I don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
Where the other three are stronger in everything all the trials they've dealt with, and being thrown into leadership roles. Those three have done that, and they've succeeded at it, and they're in their own little bubbles, and they don't need her. And she feels like, in comparison to her siblings, she's nothing.
I don't know. I don't think she would take it, but can Sansa give Arya control of everything?
I think.
No, but
I think
because I could see Sansa offering it.
I think she can pass it. You know, if she wants to go off and live her own, she doesn't want to be a lady of the house. I think it would genuinely pass on to the next daughter, like it would pass on to the next child in line.
Here's the thing I'm seeing with Sansa in this scene is like she's almost feeling a little overwhelmed, like she can't wait till Jon gets back because she wants to get relief of all the pressure. But at the same time, she's been through trials and tribulations as well, and she's growing. But she just feels like her siblings are
exceeded her
beyond where she's at. I still think that Sansa is growing into a strong woman, but right now she's still at the bottom.
Right. She's at the toddler stage where they're full adults, is what I'm saying. She's not, and she sees it in comparison. She's comparing herself to even her little sister.
She doesn't
she's like,
fall into Littlefinger's traps and continues to grow, she'll be fine. But I think she's a bit intimidated by Arya in this scene.
Yeah, especially because she sees it as like they had that like mutual understanding where she's like, yeah, something really bad happened to me. Something really bad happened to me too. We're not talking about it, at least right now anyway.
Yeah.
And then she came out of it stronger, and then she did Arya doesn't seem traumatized by what happened to her.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm over it, done. And she's not over it.
So, yeah.
Right.
I was waiting for the Lethal Weapon moment where they start listing off all the bad things that have happened to them, all their scars and whatnot, but it didn't happen. So
yeah, I don't think that would happen.
After she tells them that Bran's home, they go to the Weeping Willow. Bran's there. He shows them the knife, and they start to like, why do you have the knife? Littlefinger gave it to him. He's not going to give it to you unless he's expecting something in return. And this is what I mean, is that if Sansa keeps going the way she's going, she's going to grow up to be perfectly fine, just like her mom. But I think she's comparing herself to her brothers and sister, and it's not doing her any good right now, and it's stressing her out. But at this moment, they're talking about it, and so they're kind of all coming together on the same page. Like, Littlefinger's trying to, connive something right now.
Well, going back to when the first time the dagger was brought up, which I didn't get to finish my thought, the whole reason why this dagger was a big deal in this issue, and I think it's going to come out later, is that we're going to find out that Littlefinger was the cause. Because, one, he is the cause of Ned's death, and he is going to be the reason why, even though Cersei wanted the kid dead, he's going to be the one who issued it to whoever. Like, he's going to be that middleman to say, here's the dagger, go kill the youngest Stark boy, or Bram at this point. I think it's going to come back to him. That's why they keep mentioning him with the dagger, and that's why I like this scene a lot. The fact that he gives it to the one person that, if they're going to use it, this person would use it.
I think Bran knows entirely the whole story about the dagger already, so
yeah,
it's just a matter of time before he brings it up. In this scene, also though, Bran kind of confirms, like, yeah, my visions aren't just Sansa over there, kind of making light of it. They're legit. Because then he mentions something. He says, yeah, Cersei's on Arya's list. So he confirms something that he shouldn't have any knowledge. So it confirms that he's at.
Yeah, he also mentioned that she was at the crossroads first.
Well, but he saw her though because he saw her, not just because of the warging thing. Because she was there too.
A vision.
Yeah.
He wasn't at the crossroads.
They were up in the tower. And Hodor started screaming, I thought.
Dude, no, the crossroads where she was deciding whether to go to King's Landing or back to Winterfell. Right before she got home. That's what he was talking about. I saw you at the crossroads. You were thinking about going to King's Landing. And Sansa goes like, why were you planning on going there?
I know what you're saying.
That's what he mentions the list.
I was taking it more as the literal thing, because remember when they were in the tower right there and they couldn't scream out to her? But anyway, all right.
Yeah, but no, he's referring to that moment.
But he confirms the list, so Sansa's now, okay, this is legit. Like, Arya does have a list, and Sansa and Bran is actually like legit seeing things now that are legitimately true. So Sansa's now getting even more intimidated by her siblings, and it's going to come to a head a little later. At this point, he gives it to Arya. Arya takes it willingly, which is good because she's going to be the one that's going to need to use it probably. And then it goes to them walking into Winterfell, and Brienne and Podrick see them walking in. Brienne's a little proud. She doesn't take any claim for it being her efforts, but they're proud and happy to see them all back together. And this scene's a nice little ending to the other scenes, like a little period on it for now. We go over to Dragonstone. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to discuss about that last part. That's why I'm just moving on.
No, that's fine.
Next up, we go to Dragonstone with Missandei and Dany taking a walk and having some girl talk. And
this was a chick flick moment of the night.
They had a little moment when they're talking about Grey Worm returning, and Missandei's not hiding it at all in her face that something might have happened, but they don't entirely divulge the details, but they're going to, of course. So then enters Jon, and he takes Missandei and Dany down to the cave, but only he and Dany go in the cave. He wants to show them the dragon glass before they start mining it. But he also wants to show her something else. I gotta say, just seeing that dragon glass in there, I thought it was awesome. It was amazing. It was an amazing shot, I thought. He takes her in there to now show her the cave paintings, and he and her now get to see that the forest children also there at the same time with the first men, and that not only were they there together, but they were fighting the White Walkers together. So now at this point, Dany realizes like, okay, this is legit too. So it's a lot of like.
Yeah, this was a big exclamation point that the White Walkers are real.
There's a lot of truth coming to light in different points of this episode. A lot of people are realizing like, hey, this stuff's legit. You know, that's the truth. I should stop denying it and believe in what I'm not used to. Like we were talking, like they talked about last week. She says that she will fight for the North. She will fight with Jon once he bends the knee, and she tries to appeal to him to not make the decision because of his pride, that he should be doing it for the betterment of the North, for the protection of the North. What do you?
That whole line, right there, pissed me off so bad because it the whole pride line. Don't let your pride stand in the way of protecting your people. When she, in this situation and last episode, has been the most prideful with her being how she was announced, how she wanted to be treated, and what have you. And Jon's been pretty much staying forward, being himself all along. He's never shown that he's this proud, overbearing personality. And yet, for her to say that to him sort of pissed me off. I'm like, where is she coming off with that? Because he's been doing everything for his people right off the bat. He's letting you know, hey, we need to work together. And yet she still thinks it's all about him trying to be above her.
She makes it out to be about her and that everybody kneel to her.
See, I was.
This is the first time I
saw that was her trying to be the, like, do her
the dominating
crap, and it didn't work.
Yeah, which it didn't need to. But the fact that she's at the same time being domineering, she was insulting.
It was almost like she felt like she saw an opening, and she's like, "Oh, I gotta take this moment." And she tried it again. And like, won't you chill out with this already? Like that's in my mind. That's what Jon is thinking. Like, again, you have to ask me this again. Like, let's.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Matters, and not about me bending knee to you because that's what she keeps bringing up. So I don't know. I appreciate this scene as a whole, and I want to see where this goes because there was a moment in there too where they got a bit close as well. You felt like there was a connection, and then they follow that up a little later. But after they leave the cave, it's Jon, Missandei, and Dany. They meet Tyrion and Varys on the beach. They receive news of Casterly Rock being taken by there, so it's a success. But at the same time, they're given news that when Jaime took most of the military, they took all the rations and everything. So they took an empty castle essentially. This pisses them off. They have all their unsullied army is now at Casterly Rock with no rations, with a lot of their fleet destroyed because Euron attacked all their empty ships and destroyed them. And so they're upset, and she's going on a rampage. What do? Do I just attack? I'm going to go attack the Red Keep, and I'm going to do this because I need to be a freaking dragon, essentially, in Lady Tyrell's words, right? And she doesn't say that, but she's trying to be assertive. And Tyrion's trying to say, let's be rational about this, even though his plans have kind of been outthunk by Jaime and the Lannisters. But
she also thought that, hey, it's your family. For all you know, you don't want to hurt them.
Are you not giving me everything you got with all of your ideas, kind of thing?
Right.
So she actually turns to Jon for some advice on the situation, asks him what he thinks, and he says, if you attack the Red Keep, King's Landing, with those dragons, you're no better than Cersei or anybody else. You're just like them. What do you guys take from this one? Brennan?
He turned the tables on her.
I liked what he said. I liked the fact that he kind of put her in her place without being an asshole, and he kind of appealed to her.
But you know what's funny? It's funny is that this is the second time she's been told this exact statement from a different person. Like, you can't be an aggressive ruler and want to burn cities. You don't want to be the Queen of Ashes. And yet, here she is taking it from Jon, the exact same phrasing, different wording. But I'm like, when is she going to realize, hey, I understand, your britches are up in a nutshell. You want to fucking, go balls deep and what have you. But take a chill pill. Let's do it. Let's do things, right.
So I think of it two ways. One, she's stomping around like a little kid. She didn't get what she wanted.
Right.
And then two, the other thing is like, she's almost having a Mad Queen moment. Like her father.
The Mad Queen's in
no, I know, but
King's
like,
Landing.
I'm just saying Mad Queen because she's a female.
Yeah, yeah.
Female. But like if she doesn't calm down, she's gonna go off the hinges. And she needs to have good people like Tyrion, like Jon, like Davos, like Missandei. She needs to have them around her, but to keep her, settled. So I appreciate what Jon did. He appealed to her heart because at her heart, she wants to protect people. She wants to free people and liberate and be a good ruler. So I like what Jon did there.
I like the fact that she took the chance to trust him, to ask him that. And not only that, but also to keep his right-hand man there to listen in on the conversation. Because when Davos wanted to pull off to the side, say, if you guys want to talk alone, you're more than welcome. She cut him off and said, no, you stay. So she's like opening up to them a little bit more in that scene.
And like we mentioned, Jon just confirmed stuff that we've already heard from other people. So, yeah. Next thing you know, we're back at Winterfell. Brienne is training Podrick. Is 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. Arya sees her, comes to her, and says she wants to train with Lady Brienne because she's the one that took down the Hound. At this moment, Littlefinger and Sansa are watching, and they're just watching, seeing what's going on. At this point, Brienne tells Podrick to move aside, and so Arya pulls out Needle. And Brienne gives her a little comment like, "Wait, you gotta put that away. I'm gonna hurt you." She's like, "Oh, I promise I won't cut you." And then badass Arya comes out to play, and it's freaking awesome. I loved that scene.
I loved the two of them interacting with one another.
It was freaking awesome. And then at the end, she says, "Who taught you that?" No one, because no one did.
quite literally.
And then, here's the thing where I said it was coming to a head earlier about Sansa. Is there's another moment where she sees like, oh shoot, my sister is a badass, like she claims to be. That kill list, though she probably killed those people, she doesn't need me at all. And so she walks away after having like a weird ass reaction to it.
She looked like she was jealous there for a minute. Then like, oof, I'm gonna stomp off.
Yeah, but that scene was bad. I loved it. Arya.
Yeah.
That was a real.
And she brought out that dagger again once she lost Needle.
Yeah.
Back to the Valerian dagger.
But you know what I liked about it though too is Brienne kicked her, and it's one of those things like when I see movies and TV shows where you have somebody of this difference when they're fighting. There's this little person versus big person. I always want the big person just pick the little person up and slam them, body slam them, kick them, stomp on them, whatever. And finally, like there's things where we've seen where that happened, like Euron did that to the girls, and now Brienne did to her. I like to see that. But Arya, twirled around, jackknifed back up, and was ready to go.
What I liked about the scene is that both of them started off confident in themselves. Brienne was like, okay, I'm going to take it easy on her because she's little and what have you. And the more that Arya went one up on her, she got frustrated. She started doing exactly what she told her squire not to do. She lunged at her, and then she got frustrated. She kicked her.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Good
so it was awesome.
I like seeing it because we now get to see some of the badass stuff that Arya knows. That we spent 2 seasons waiting for her to show us, and so now we're finally seeing it. So it's nice to see that stuff. So that was great. We go back over to Dragonstone. It's Jon and Sir Davos. They're walking down, I think, the same walk that causeway, the same causeway that Dany and Missandei were walking down. And Sir Davos says, "Hey, so I noticed you noticing her. I noticed you know." She goes, "Oh yeah, she has a good hurt in her chest or whatever." And he goes, "Oh, I noticed you noticing her chest or whatever he said." And so I was like, "So see, I'm telling you guys, people are noticing it." And Jon even says himself, "There's no time for that right now." So he's not denying it. He's not denying it. Ashton's kind of filling her out again, I guess. Finishing that conversation that they had last week. And Missandei starts talking of the qualities of the pedigree of the heart of Dany and how she would let her do what she needs to do because she's free. What do you guys take from this scene, Brenden?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, I thought it was boring.
Okay. Alright. I like Sir Davos making a joke about switching sides, making it lighthearted, but I think what I like about this is it keeps reiterating the fact that even though we've seen Dany over there stomping around like a little kid, she's actually a good person at heart. it confirms that more so.
Yeah, I guess.
Lynn.
I looked at it this way: it's like they were trying to test is she really as loyal to Dany as she's claiming. And when Sir Davos was mentioned, well, would she really give you a ship to go home? Like, would she really? Like, why would she let you go? Why would she let you go? You're serving her. You know, he was trying to test. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, no,
because remember,
finish the conversation from.
Yeah, going back to that first conversation when he's talking about the flowers of her land and things like that. So he's still like on
still
that.
Pulling her out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At this moment, a Greyjoy ship comes back, and it is the one Greyjoy ship that's left. On it is Theon, and you get to the beach, and you have a reunited, and it feels so good. You freaking Theon.
Oh, not the look that he gave him. It wasn't feeling good.
John's a little mad, to say the least. John's a little.
No shit.
But he admits that the only reason I'm not killing you is because of what you did for Sansa, and so he lets him go. Theon asks where Dany is, and they go, "Oh, she's left. She's gone." At this point, we didn't know that she had left. So I was like, "Ooh, where did she go?" And then, this leads us up to the pinnacle moment of the episode. We go back to where we were at the beginning of the episode to start off, where the Lannister army, the Lannister military, they are marching in the gold. Lord Tarly comes to tell them the gold's already gone. They packed it up. It's good, but they're kind of lagging on the rations and whatnot. And they say, "Oh, how about a good flogging?" That's what Bronn advises. And Jaime says, "Give him a warning first." So see, Jaime's going a little soft, like I said, you guys. He doesn't want to just flog him. He's going a little soft, becoming a better person.
That's because he got what he wanted from the general. He can care less now.
At this part, they talk about the castle thing that we mentioned earlier about taking High Garden, but then it possibly being retaken, so there's no point. And as if on cue, Bronn says, "Wait, do you hear that?" And we hear this rumbling, and I thought there's two things, because the clouds look like, okay, is he listening to a storm, or is it actually horses? Because I think that sounds like horses, and I felt like I was.
Well, you heard the Thraki chanting is the screaming of their
that,
you know.
No,
not the first time it was, but from the second time out is when
right off the bat, you hear this rumbling, and you think, and they show the clouds.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, is that a storm, or is there an army coming? Could this be where Dany went to? And sure enough, it is the Dothraki army, and they are charging, and we're let into this freaking awesome battle scene that's out of freaking Braveheart. And when Dany rode in on Drogon, I got freaking goosebumps. I was like, yeah! And then she shot the Lannister army with the first one, Dracarys, and then she fired him up. Oh, dude, I got goosebumps. And I don't know. What did you guys think of this battle?
I thought
it was good. It was awesome.
I thought it was awesome, especially like they bring out this weapon that Cersei's all like, the guys are like, we've been planning this for 100 years, and then they use it. And he's like, hell yeah! And then he's like, and he gets his shot, and then they're basically, the dragon's like, okay.
You just pissed me off. Drogon looked pissed off when he sat down. He looked over and like, oh, you done it now.
That wasn't awesome though, how Bronn killed that dude though with the first arrow. Yeah. He opens up the tent. Oh damn! And that was freaking awesome. This battle was so cool. I loved it. They did a good job of showing moments on both sides where, like, Bronn, you see Bronn be successful with what he was trying to do, and Jaime at his, general on the field kind of thing. But then you also see freaking Drogon freaking lighting people up, lighting up all the rations that they stole and whatnot. And finally, Bronn does actually hit Drogon. He comes down, and Bronn's like, "Oh hell no, I'm out of here." He jumps off. Before we get too far though, you mentioned this earlier about Bronn, about the whole conversation, and I hope you weren't. I mean, I got from this moment in this scene, when he got knocked off his horse, he looked at the Dothraki guy and looked at his gold, and at that moment, what you were saying, yeah, that came to mind, where I was like, okay, is he gonna go for the gold, the highest bidder kind of thing, and save his own skin, or am I gonna be loyal to Jaime? It turned out he was being loyal to Jaime and the Lannisters. because they've given him the money and whatnot. So that was a good character moment for Bronn, I think.
It's not a character moment he needs. I think his best character moments were with Tyrion at best, because the first couple conversations he had with Jaime. This here on out, I look at it as like, okay, this guy's promised you something. He's not fulfilling your promise. Why do you need to stick by him now? Gold or no gold? That's the way I looked at it, and I felt like he should have just like, you know what? I'm switching sides here. That's the way I would have called it. And it would not have done anything with money. It's just like, hey, I want to go where I know I can be of use and I'm appreciated. Because at that moment, I didn't see him as being appreciated because his promise is not being fulfilled. He didn't care about the gold. And the only reason he stood with Jaime to begin with is because Tyrion asked him to look after Jaime, to teach him how to fight again when he lost his hand. So it all goes back to a promise he made to Tyrion a long time ago. So I look at it as like, yeah, I can understand if you're feeling buddy-buddy with him, but he still broke his promise to you.
Okay. Earlier, though, you were letting on that he was almost going to flip-flop. That's why I was bringing this up.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he chose the Lannister side. He went and he got to the arrow. Like we said, he after the first miss, he actually hit Drogon. Drogon came down, destroyed the freaking catapult, the arrow, big old arrow thing. And then you had this moment with Tyrion back there. The music entirely changed when he started realizing, like, seeing his Lannister army getting killed and burnt up, and it was like, dude, feels bad. And then you had the Dothraki rubbing it in his face, like, hey, your people are dying down there, ha ha ha, kind of thing. And
your people can't fight.
Well, which is, I expected him to say something like, "This isn't fighting, this is slaughtering."
Yeah.
Something like that, because you could see that in his face where he was like, "This isn't a fight. This is they don't fight, they massacre."
Yeah, we saw that in his face. That's the thing, is like, and then the tone of the music changed a little, and I was like, damn, I feel bad for Tyrion. This dude's watching. He probably knows some of those people, you know.
He's probably gotten drunk with a few of those soldiers.
So I felt bad for him at that moment. But he towards this part at the end where Drogon's there now on the ground because he got shot in the shoulder. Jaime is thinking about picking up the spear, and Tyrion saying, "Please just retreat," because as much as he's fighting his brother, he doesn't want to see him die. And Jaime charges, and I was like, "Holy cow! They're gonna freaking kill Jaime right now!" And Bronn comes and saves him. And I wasn't. You don't think he saved? You think? Well, let's say this. Bronn saves him from getting hit with fire. And we see Jaime sinking to the bottom. We saw Bronn go in right over on top of him, but we don't see Bronn in the water anymore. The camera just focuses on Jaime. So we know he didn't get burnt to crisp, but we don't know if he's alive just yet. I didn't expect Bronn to jump out of there, out of nowhere. I thought he was maybe too far.
Well, he was still by the carriage, and Drogon, when he landed, was still, like right on top of the carriage before he blew it up. So I would say they were about like what, 3-4 feet from each other. The horse and I'm talking about the horse, Jaime, and Bronn, about 3 or 4 feet.
No,
so yeah, because
then muster in 3 or 4 feet.
Well, one, I have two things. Jaime's a dumb fuck for even attempting that.
Yeah, he should.
Because it's not like if the dragon was like completely like listless and unresponsive, then I could probably figure out him trying to do this.
Well, I mean,
but the fact that you got this huge giant thing that could easily not only engulf him in flames, but he could have just eaten him.
He could have just gone like that. But go ahead, Brent.
Yeah.
That could also be, I mean, you could see his point. Dude snapped. His friggin' like life is literally falling apart. He just found out that all this shit happened in the background. He's still trying to process that. Mm-hmm. He's got his sister's shit that he's worrying about. Fighting another friggin' war. He doesn't want to be doing all this fighting. All of his kids are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sees the dragon and Daenerys, which are like the source of a lot of his problems. And he friggin' snapped and was like, you know what? I'm either gonna kill her or I'm gonna die. I don't care. He was mad. He was mad.
whatever. If I die, I die. But if I survive, I kill her, the quote-unquote king, the freer slaves, yada yada, right? And then this war is over because now she's done. So for him, it was kind of like, it's not entirely that bad, whichever way it goes. You know, I didn't think that he thought of it as, I think it was like, it was an okay thing for him to make a split decision like that. He was lucky that Bronn got him, though, because I was like, holy cow, he's about to freaking die. And his face on the horse, he's like, and I was like,
I love the close-up on that fireball, though. It's like, it was insane.
It was really good. This was a really good episode. All the money they put into this last scene. And not only just the fighting stuff, when the Dothraki are coming in, they have the camera behind them from their point of view, and you can see Highgarden in the background. My God, Highgarden looked freaking amazing.
I think one of my favorite moments, though, is when the Dothraki are coming in, the second wave, and you see the archers standing up on their horses, them pulling their bows back. I was like, oh, all in one take. There was no cutaway from them just going. They did it so smoothly. I was like, oh, those guys are awesome.
Yeah, this was a really good battle. It rivals Battle of the Bastards, but I don't think it's better than Battle of the Bastards. Battle of the Bastards still...
a lot of these fights have been really short.
Yes.
I think they had to be.
Well, this one was what, probably like a 10-minute battle, I think.
10 minutes.
They're saving all of their money for the White Walker battle.
Yeah. Well,
all of it.
So that takes us into what we're expecting for next week, you guys. We've covered everything that happened today as far as we can think of right now. But for next week, they showed us the little teaser at the end. And speaking of White Walkers, it's mentioned in there. Jon mentions it in the teaser that Bran. So obviously he's going to catch up with Bran this next week. He mentions that Bran saw the White Walkers warging through the Ravens, walking towards Eastwick. So next week, are we going to see any White Walkers, you guys? Like other than just.
I think we'll see them, but there won't be a massive battle.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have any emphasis in this season at all. They'll probably be at the tail end of the last episode, and that's about it to lead up into the next one. But other than that, I don't think we're going to see them, play any pivotal role this season.
Are they going around the wall? I mean, I don't know the map. Do you guys?
All right, the wall has 2 bodies of water on either side of it, so they could, and considering that it is winter, those bodies of water could be frozen enough that they could walk over it. Because that's what Susan was bringing up. Because White Walkers don't have ships or anything like that, so the only thing they could do is walk across the ice and make it, and they don't have to worry about dying because they're already dead.
Or is Eastwick one of the castles on the wall? Because there's multiple castles on the wall, remember? And isn't
Eastwick could be one of the areas close to the wall, but further east or west.
Yeah, and was Eastwick where Jon sent the wildlings in episode 2, I think it was, this season, or episode 1? Jon sent them to one of the castles on the wall. Remember?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think it might have been. So, if anything, they might show a Wildling Walker battle next week, maybe for a minute or two. I don't know. I think, like I've been saying, though, I think they're going to save a lot of the White Walker stuff for next week, next year, next season. And a lot of stuff this season is going to be the people.
And a lot of prelude leading up to
What else are you guys looking forward to? What do you think will happen next week, aside from that stuff with the White Walkers?
There's one tease in that teaser vid for next week that I just want to see fulfilled, and all I saw was that dragon head and Jon's face, right? Jon's, physique right in front of that head. So, is this the defining moment where Jon realizes, hey, look,
so he gets
he likes me.
To meet one of his brothers.
Exactly.
He's gonna get his dragon.
And it might be the one. It might be the one named after his father, for all we know.
Yeah. Hey, Uncle, whatever. Hey, Uncle, whatever.
Where the frick is the Hound?
He is with the brothers.
He's still with
the brothers right now.
I want to see.
Yeah,
I want to see him. Why is he not in the show?
He's gonna make.
Maybe with the mention of Eastwick, maybe we'll see him there. Maybe they'll show a little bit of him there, because if it's being brought up, he's still north of Winterfell, so I expect him to be in that general vicinity, close to the wall. He might be in that general area.
Who do you guys? I don't think the brothers without banners, because they're without banners, they are not going to take a side.
Yeah.
I don't think. Do you think the Hound?
I think they're going to come to a point that they're going to have to take a side, especially with the White Walkers.
Versus the White Walkers, I think they're on the side of humanity. But I'm saying they're going to try. I think they're going to stay out of this little kingdom war.
Here's what could happen: if maybe they'll run into wildlings, and maybe there'll be a small battle with White Walkers, nothing grandioso, but a small one that has them like team up with the wildlings, and then even though they don't have banners, this leads to, because the wildlings don't either. They're just following John, but they don't have banners either. And you know, this is a group of people that they could be like, okay, we can hang out with them. They have no affiliation to anyone, to their knowledge. And then when John comes and checks on the wildling, they're like, uh-oh. Because that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only tie that could possibly bring the Hound and the Brothers with No Banners with, you know, Winterfell and the wildlings, and get them in the mix.
I think at the end of the day, they'll be on humanity's side. I think they could be cordial with all the other people, but...
Well, I didn't say they were going to pledge themselves to it. I'm just saying this is what's going to bring them into the fold.
Yeah, I'm just... they'll continue doing whatever they're doing, which is going around right now, looking into fires, things like that. I want to see all the Stark kids and John at Winterfell, and I want to see them having a family meeting, you know, talking things out, seeing what's going on. Bran, stop being so emo. I'm not Bran. Oh, Three-Eyed Raven, I'm sorry. Sansa, stop being a little brat.
Dude, you guys kept calling him Bran like literally like 2 seconds after we said we're not going to call him that anymore, so I ignored it.
I was saying it in John's voice.
Well, no, I called him the Three-Eyed Raven from when you asked.
No, you rewatch it, and you both do it right after we talk about it.
So, all right, the Three-Eyed Raven
okay.
will be there, Arya will be there, Sansa will be there. They'll all be talking about the issues and what's going on, what they want to do. They're all going to do.
Now I got a stupid question. With so-and-so being the Three-Eyed Raven, does Winterfell really need a maester? Because this is somebody who knows everything. The Three-Eyed Raven knows and sees everything
that he's asked. He's not going to volunteer.
But he'll to his siblings.
No, they're not his siblings anymore. They're not siblings anymore. Bran's dead. He's just the Three-Eyed Raven. He's making sure.
But they're still gonna see him as their little brother.
Yeah,
or
he's gonna be like, I remember all this stuff, but that's not me. I remember being him, but I'm not him.
Well, I hope he dies then. Because if he's no use to his siblings,
larger role to fulfill now, and so they're gonna have to deal with him being gone. He's there.
But I mean, to an extent, I don't think he's 100% oblivious, because he plays along. He
didn't hug back, but when Arya hugged him, he held her. And I'm wondering it's because since they were closer in age, maybe there was more of a connection. But he was very cold to Sansa in comparison to how he was with Arya. I also
think, though, when they were kids, Sansa in the first season, Sansa was a little bit stuck up compared to...
She's bratty. She was a bratty. She This is the same woman who wanted to marry Joffrey. She thought he was handsome, and she thought he was Mr. Perfect just because he was a prince. So, yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, he, like I said, he was more giving to Arya than he was to Sansa, now, as far as emotion.
Question: if, for example, if he trained the next Three-Eyed Raven, okay, assuming there is one, because I just want to know how this works. They didn't have time to switch because he got killed. So is it like he's just gonna go into a different body, and then that body like dead, or can he just leave and go to somebody else?
So here's what.
We're mixing Harry Potter.
We now know he can. Some of the rumors are that he has actually. Bran, the Three-Eyed Raven, was actually the Three-Eyed Raven in the cave connected to the tree. That's what some people are saying in the rumors. So that when the girl said you died in that cave, it has a double meaning. Not only did Bran die, but he died because that was him in the cave.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe the three-eyed raven regenerates into other people's bodies.
To answer Brendan's question is that I think that he is like an everlasting dude. I think that he's just like gonna grow old forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just regenerates into different bodies.
I bet you can kill him though. I'm saying if you were to stab him in the heart, he's dead. But he needs to be able to teach the next person, which in this case, the rumors are that he taught himself.
So he picks his next. What you're saying that future self taught past self how to become the three-eyed raven, and then he's gonna find another. He's gonna find another version of himself and recycle
and it's
himself.
On a loop until he can break out of that.
Breaks the circle.
That's what.
Well, I can see that because that would be something that would constitute into some lores of magic that's in present day terminology. So I can see that being referenced.
I mean, in Brendan's case, what he's saying is about training a new three-eyed raven. I think at this moment, maybe he's failing. So before he fails, he jumps back and somehow wargs back into the past, gets just waits for himself to get to the tree. He maybe wargs too far back, and because if you notice, we never see that three-eyed raven leave from being the way he was, because he'd been there forever. The tree had grown around him. You know, maybe he wargs himself there. I don't know. It's just rumors.
He gets himself stuck.
He gets transfused tree, and it grows around him because he can't move anyway.
Maybe the tree that he's always going to, the Winterfell tree, the big weeping. No, it's not a willow. It's the big weeping. I forgot. My wife Susan made a reference to it. It has a different name, but it is weeping something.
I thought it was alliteration.
What if
weeping W something?
It's not a willow. Willow is a very specific tree.
It's not a literal willow. I know that. But I'm just saying that.
No, but that's not the name. That's because she's actually looked it up from when she read it. It's not a willow. It's something else. But what if the tree that he goes to and sits next to is actually the tree he goes back to and gets stuck in?
Maybe he walks the tree too.
Yeah. Like he walks back and takes the whole tree with him. It's like, oh. And that's why it's a crying tree.
They need to figure out which direction they're going to go with him, though, because if he has the power to affect the past by making Hodor get his mind all messed up, they have a lot of different avenues. This could become Flashpoint at any moment.
Yeah, because when they made that one aspect of him calling out to his father when he saw that key, and yeah, his father heard him. Like, there's got to be more.
Yeah.
Because they haven't shown him actually going back to anything or seeing anything. So I'm wondering, this next episode, you'll see him, like... Because you saw in the teaser, his eyes go white.
I'm going to make a prediction. When Bran tells Jon that he is not a Stark, he is, in fact, a Targaryen, he's going to do the whole thing with... He's going to touch Jon, like on his shoulder, and they're going to warg back to the tower. And they're going to show him walking out with Jon and this dead ant there, or he's going to hear the ant say, "Take care of my baby, treat him as your own." I think Jon's going to see it by warging back with Bran to the tower. I'm just throwing that out.
But he is a Stark.
Okay.
Well, but I mean,
by mother, because he's
not from Ned. I'm saying not from Ned.
No, here's my
but what I'm saying, he's the epitome of fire and ice. He's of both.
Okay. I get it, but that's not what I'm saying, Lynn. I'm saying he's not Ned's son.
I get you. I'm just saying, you know, the whole terminology of saying not a Stark, that's wrong.
Not Ned.
He is a Stark.
Not Ned. Okay, he's not Ned Stark's son.
But remember, Ned's sister, in relation to royalty, was higher above than Ned was, and because she died, made Ned next in line. Just keep that in mind. So even though Ned's sister was older.
But royalty, though, in what, though?
As far as she was the next head of House Stark.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you meant. I was like, royalty. Okay. But I'm just throwing this out there as a prediction.
Lord or Lady.
Here's mine. I got mine.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, Three-Eyed Raven, Sansa.
My bad.
Arya, and Jon Snow, they're all going to be talking. And then a bird's going to fly in, and it's going to land on the ground, and it's going to scratch out, "I am Ned Stark." And the bird's going to come, and everybody's going to be back together. Bam!
I have this feeling that like Sean Bean is gonna show up sometime this season.
He's gonna show up.
What if he actually comes back as a dire wolf?
I don't know.
No,
I just feel like
bird. I think he'll be a raven. He morphed into a raven.
Why a bird? The House Starks are dire wolves.
Yeah, but it was that bird.
That's their animal.
Above, remember? Flying above when he got killed, he morphed to that bird. And then the bird
that's the remember what I talked about was one of the rumors that was the bird.
Oh man.
So yeah, that happened.
What if that bird was actually Bran seeing everything? Since maybe that was a three-eyed raven watching the beheading.
Oh,
and the old three-eyed raven. Maybe it was the old three-eyed raven.
That's the three-eyed raven watching the head get cut off.
Which is now the three-eyed raven who walked back in time.
The bird.
Exactly.
Screw that time crap. The bird is gonna land. It's gonna have 3 eyes, and then three-eyed raven's gonna go hot 3 eyes, and then he's gonna do the literal sound. Somebody's gonna knock over a pot or something. He's gonna make that sound. You watch. Put my name on it.
Somebody's gonna trip, and it's gonna make the actual sound.
Boo.
It's gonna be 2 barrels of hay. It's gonna go and then you're gonna hear a pot break.
Maybe it'd be Littlefinger try to sneak in, hold it, listening at the door.
And then he's gonna look at the camera and wink, like the Office style.
So out of 6 seasons, this is where they break the 4th wall, right here.
Yep.
Just him looking at the camera with a wink.
And everyone's gonna go, oh wait, nope, three-eyed raven / Bran is awesome. He's my favorite character of all time. It's all marketing.
It's funny.
They're gonna sell those Bran dolls. They're gonna sell those Bran dolls. You watch.
They're gonna make
They've got them all in a warehouse because nobody likes Bran, and now they're gonna sell it.
They're gonna make a Bran cereal. Everybody's gonna buy it.
These little wheelchairs.
Bread cereal.
So,
yeah, how cool is that? It took 6 seasons for him to actually get a wheelchair.
Yep.
Instead of being dragged around in a bed.
Hey, and you know what's funny is like they could have said like, "Oh, you've got a chair with wheels on it." They should have said that.
But it was something easy. Like, oh yeah, the Maester whipped this up. Yeah. Nobody else can do that.
Maybe it was in their books.
That's one of the things I like with fantasy. A lot of fantasy IPs, movies, video games, and all that. I have a hard time believing that they've been around for thousands and thousands. Like the civilization that they're in has been around for 5,000 years. Yet they don't have something like a wheelchair. It's like so hard to pull me out of like how they cannot think of a. They have wagons with wheels and carts and whatnot, but they can't think of a wheelchair until. Oh.
Didn't the 3-Eye Raven call it like a little wagon so he can get around?
I don't remember.
Is that the reference he called it? I didn't get to hear it because I was like moving into the kitchen.
You couldn't think of that earlier. No, they're dragging him on a freaking like he was like.
Because the poor girl had to earn her back muscles dragging his ass all over the place.
All right, guys. So, any final thoughts on today's episode?
Awesome.
It was really good.
Yes, I agree. Awesome episode. I got goosebumps in that final battle scene. Got it a couple times actually. Really good way to end an episode. Way to bookend an episode, front and beginning. Kind of go back to what they did. So, you guys, let's say some goodbyes. Lynn, start us off.
Stay away from leaks. Don't ruin the episodes for yourself from the HBO hack.
I'm not
just stay away from all leaks.
I'm not clicking on one freaking article. Do not talk to me about it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, neither do I. It's like screw the people who hacked HBO. Just wait until next week. Don't go looking for whatever was hacked.
Yeah.
And later, guys.
What I just said and goodbye.
All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us this week on Geeks of Thrones. Check us out on the podcast that'll be going up live on Tuesday afternoon at about 3:30, 4 o'clock Pacific. And stay tuned for